I am not a fan of Amazon, but I've been a Kindle user since about 2009, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not going to be giving it up anytime soon. This thing has been with me all over the world multiple times, traveling around the world, working in different countries, going on holidays, vacations, planes, trains, automobiles, typhoons, hurricanes, the whole thing. And it just keeps working. And for me, living abroad and living in different countries, it still works is a really, really important factor. Now, this video is not a defense of Jeff Bezos or of Amazon and the way that they do business. I'm also not going to talk about the death of the independent bookseller. That's not what this video is about. This video is about why I keep using my Kindle and why you might want to continue to use the e-reader that you have, whether it's a Kindle or not, okay? I just happen to have a Kindle. And the first point I have is that I already own it. I already have it and it works. It still works, okay? There's no point in buying a new device and creating more e-waste when the device you have is already working just fine. It just doesn't make sense to do that. To me, to some people, that was the right thing to do. And there was a thing that came out not too long ago. Amazon made some changes to their policy about sharing books across devices. I did not fully understand it. I didn't think it was that big of a deal to worry about. But a lot of people thought it was, and a lot of people were saying you needed to download your books and then buy a Kobo or another e-reader, but Kobo seemed to be the big one, and then put all your Amazon books on there, and that would be better than having the Kindle. To a certain extent, that's true. However, you've also just created a whole bunch of e-waste, and that's something that I'm not comfortable doing. To me, it just didn't make sense to buy a new device just to throw the existing device away that already works. So that's my first point. And that kind of leads me to my second point. I travel a lot. I move around to different countries and different cities and things like that. And I need to be light. There's a lot of times of the year where I live out of a suitcase or out of a backpack. Like right now in the summer, I'm traveling a lot. And I just need lightweight stuff. And the Kindle is just so simple and so light and so easy to have. It just makes a lot of sense. It makes more sense to have this than to be carrying a whole bunch of books around, okay? And then there is the cost, okay? Ebooks are a lot more affordable these days than physical books. I'm lucky that I live in China through most of the year, and books there are relatively affordable, although they are noticeably going up. Thank you, Donald Trump. And I've noticed that ebooks are suddenly becoming a lot more affordable. Also, for a lot of people who don't live in America or don't live in the UK, ebooks really are just much more affordable. And there's also the issue of storage. You know, if you have 400 books, not everybody has the storage for that. Look at this place that I'm in right now, okay? This is an old condo that I used to live in Bangkok. I'm renting it just for a couple of weeks here. It's 35 square meters. There's no place to store books here. The only place to store books is as ebooks or as a device. So what should I do? Should I say like, oh, I'm just not going to read books because if I can't have physical books, then I'm just not going to have books? No, of course not. That's silly. So I'm going to buy ebooks. All right. Also, another thing to consider is that this thing is basically indestructible. Okay. Like I said before, I take this with me everywhere I travel, every time I travel, even if it's just for the weekend. But I travel around Asia where it's very wet. It rains a lot. In fact, I'm looking out the window right now and there's a huge rainstorm coming in. And I think my lighting is changing. We'll see if we can get through this, okay? But also like in Shanghai, there's lots of hurricanes, there's lots of typhoons. I used to live in Saudi Arabia. It's very hot, it's very dry. This thing, basically indestructible, okay? This is my third Kindle since 2009. My second Kindle lasted almost 6 years until I dropped it in water. So as long as you don't drop it in water, they just keep going, okay? And unlike reading on a phone or a tablet, sometimes I do read on my phone, and I'm looking at notes right now. If you're reading on a phone or a tablet or a computer, ugh, what a horrible reading experience, but there's lots of distractions. You're going to get lots of pop-ups, lots of notifications. You're also going to be tempted to go on the internet, to go and look something up, and then look at another page, and then look at another page. And so about the Kindle is that it's really distraction-free reading. It doesn't go online. You can go online on here. It does have a kind of a web browser built into it, but it's horrible, it's clunky, it just doesn't work well. So the Kindle, in my opinion, really gives you distraction-free reading. And for someone like me who likes to highlight and likes to take notes, or likes to bookmark pages because maybe I want to make a video about it or I want to talk about it with someone else, all of that stuff that you do on Kindle, every time you highlight text, every time you bookmark a page, every time you make a note, it becomes searchable, either on the device itself, or you can go onto the web app on your PC or on your laptop, and then it's searchable there. So that's a great thing, especially if you are a student. It's great to have that information as searchable, okay? Once you start digging with the Kindle too, you find that there's so much free stuff. You don't have to buy e-books to read on an e-reader. You can email PDFs to your Kindle or to your e-reader, and you can read them on your e-reader. You can find library books. I just joined the San Francisco Public Library last time I was home, and I'm so happy now I can use the Libby app. So many great books that I can get for free. So lots of free stuff, and also of course books that are in the public domain. And there's also lots of advanced reader copies that you can get from places like NetGalley. You can read those on your Kindle also. Now, going back to the thing about like traveling, about being in different countries, and this is not just for me, but if you're an English speaker or an English reader outside of an English-speaking country, the Kindle is really a lifeline. The Kindle has been a lifeline for me to reading really ever since it came out. When it first came out, I got really excited about it because I realized at the time I was living in Vietnam, and I realized that I could finally basically get any book I wanted and read it on a Kindle. And I was so excited to get it. I had to go home to get one, but when I was home, I got one 2009. And ever since then, I've had my Kindle, and it's really been a lifeline. I know Amazon sucks. It's not great. But for some of us, for some people, sometimes it's the only way to get a book that needs to be read or that you want to read. And you know, it doesn't take a lot of critical thinking to realize if you're a person in a country that maybe has lots of censorship, getting ebooks might be the only way to get certain things that you want to read. And honestly, with the Kindle, I really do just read a lot more. Some of the intimidation of reading, sometimes books can like be huge, they can be massive to lug around, and you just feel like, I don't want to take that book with me to go and read it. But on the Kindle, you don't face that. You know, with those big 600, 800, or 1,000 page books, you don't even really notice that. And so I think that's one of the great things. It removes some of the intimidation of longer works, and also it removes a lot of the friction that you might have for reading, because you just take it anywhere with you. It's like so small, it fits right. I usually have a sling bag with me, just fits right in there, and I've just always got it with me. Like today, I had to go get my thumb patched up. I was in the doctor's office waiting. I had to wait about an hour, had this with me, and I'm so glad because I got to do some reading. And another point that goes along with that is accessibility. My eyesight gets worse and worse every year, obviously because I'm getting older. I've got some other issues going on with my eyes too. I'm not the only person that has these problems. One of the great things is that with e-readers and with the Kindle, you can control the font size. You can actually choose the font. You can choose a much more legible font. I'm sure we've all picked up some great books. The Penguin Green Classics, the Penguin Modern Classics are definitely guilty of using very thin and cheap paper and a really small typeface. And it just drives me up the wall because they're great books. They're great classics of literature, and they're so difficult to read. You can see through the page, you see the type on the other side of the page, and it's a really small font, and it just isn't a good reading experience. But if you read that on Kindle, you can control all of those things, and it has the potential for being a better reading experience. And another thing, I think I've touched on this a few times though, that the Kindle really is just perfect for travel. It's my go-to anytime I've got a long haul flight, anytime I've got any kind of commute actually, where I know if I'm gonna be sitting around doing nothing for more than 15, 20 minutes, I know that I'm gonna grab my Kindle, I'm gonna take it with me. And like again, it just really helps encourage those reading habits. And it's just such a great thing if you're traveling. And finally, speaking of travel again, it's just really rugged and it's guilt-free reading in the wild. You take it to the beach, you don't have to worry about sand getting in your book, you don't have to worry too much about it getting a little too wet or things like that. If you're visiting somewhere, like I'm in Asia right now, it's very humid, this is the monsoon season. That's just terrible for books. Humidity is one of the worst things for books. You don't really have to worry about that with the Kindle. And you know, the newer e-readers, and I think this has actually been a feature for quite a long time, it's easy to read them in daylight, it's easy to read them in bright light. I've taken my Kindle to the beach many, many times, take it to the pool all the time, and it's just great to have it with you, and it's just such hassle-free reading, and it's just one of those, like, to me, it's just one of those great pleasures to just be able to just read a great book in such a great place. It's just so wonderful. So yeah, I get it. It's kind of complicated. I don't like Amazon. They do a lot of really bad things, but I do have to say that the Kindle, and since the Kindle, other e-readers of course too, really it is a great example of a product that genuinely solved a problem. And that problem was how to make reading more portable, how to make reading more accessible, and how to be able to get books to people who can't necessarily access or can't get their hands on those books. So there you go. That's my defense of my Kindle. It's my general defense of the e-reader. Let me know what your thoughts are. Whether you love e-readers or hate them, please leave a comment below and let me know what you think. All right, this is Editor Carl here. I was talking about humidity, rain, weather, and the elements. This is what just rolled into Bangkok while I was in the middle of making that video.